Hey, hi, Angel here. I just want to remind you that you can do whatever you set your mind to. This Head Hutt is an example for me of some things that I couldn't even fully conceive of how to do, but I knew I wanted to do. And so I just kept taking the next step, figuring out how to do it as I went along. And now it's nearly done, and I'm pretty happy with it. I learned a ton, and I get to go on and do bigger and better things that I now don't know how to do, but I can conceive of, the next step because of what I learned on this project. So don't be afraid to start something that you're not totally sure how to do, because especially with the internet now, you can learn anything that you set your mind to. And the counterpart to that is you can change your mind. Your mind is actually a plastic thing that's not totally hardwired. There's a few hardwired parts of it, but it's one of the most malleable plastic evolutionary things that it knows of. The human mind. It's a pretty amazing thing. And excuse me, I'm hoarse from singing last weekend. The point is, you can change your mind. You can change your mindset. So if you find yourself, as I sometimes do, thinking some shitty thoughts or feeling bad, going down like a negative spiral of everything that's wrong with your life, or what's wrong with you, or what's wrong with your relationships or your situation, instead of that, I use a mental, like, just tone switch. Mel Gibbons, I want to say. Gosh, I just got her name totally wrong. I can't decide if it's Mel Roberts or anyway, Griffin. Anyway, good old Mel. She talks about the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 countdown method for flipping your mind, and I think that works really well as well. I kind of use just a trigger, just a switch. I just flip a switch in my mind, and it takes, about the 1, 2 to just decide. And then it takes a few more seconds for my emotional state to follow. So just earlier I was walking my dog. I was feeling pretty good. I was enjoying the weather. And then I don't know where my mind went, wandering somewhere. And before I knew it, I was thinking about something that makes me unhappy. And I started to tear up a little while I was walking, which is not unusual for me. And used to happen really often, especially in the mornings. But I've been training myself. And this is kind of the point. Through practice and through finding little triggers, like using my negative trigger for a positive trigger, and just paying more attention and deciding that I want to feel better and that I want to do better, and believing and knowing that I can change my brain has made all the difference. So now, instead of just cascading down that loop, I caught myself, I noticed it, I mentally flipped a switch, just said, no, I don't have any time set aside today for feeling bad, and I don't expect to most days, really. Maybe every now and then to grieve something, we need to set aside that time. Right now, if something major happens, you do need to give yourself some time to get past that. But in this case, this is just residual bullshit that I relive in my mind sometimes, or old stale stories that I tell myself. And I caught myself doing it, flipped the switch, and started thinking about what I'm going to do today instead of going down that old pathway. And it took about the time that it took me to walk across the street, because I was walking with my dog, and it was the time that we usually cross the street, for my emotions to catch up with that mental switch. I was kind of trying to pay attention to it and notice. So I had I don't know how many steps I had been walking where I had started to think a negative thought instead of enjoying the weather like I had just been right before that. It's a beautiful day. Beautiful sky, beautiful birds, beautiful mountain. Somehow my mind started wandering into a negative thought loop pattern that I've thought many times before. I recognized it, I caught it, I flipped the switch. I started thinking about the productive things I'm going to do today. I'm looking forward to today because I have a day to do things, to catch up, kind of, which I haven't had in a long time. I've been just going into opportunity after opportunity because I have an awesome life. And, so I have so much to be grateful for. And that's what I do now. If I can't think of anything else, to flip the switch to start thinking about something else. A really good fallback is, what am I grateful for? What am I grateful for? And I start with, if I'm with my body, with my life, with my friends and family, with the internet, with running water, with food in my belly, with whatever it is that I'm feeling. I'm grateful for the struggle sometimes because it helps me grow and learn. Grateful for, I have a super abundant life that have tons to be grateful for. So as soon as I flip into that being grateful mode, then it pulls me out of that feeling sorry for myself mode or that negative thought pattern mode. And instead of spending minutes or hours or even days or years or decades in that negative thought pattern, I spent just, maybe 30 seconds at the most having an physical emotional response that caused me to start to get teared up. And then I was right back to my happy, perky self. And as I practice this more and get better at it, I'm more and more convinced that it's just like anything. It's learnable, and I'm going to continue to get better at it. And I'm pretty excited because I can see that I'm going to be able to have better relationships with myself and with others, and I'm going to be able to achieve the goals. So I have these amazing goals that require me to work well with others in many cases. And I don't think I work terribly with others, but I have a lot of room for improvement as far as my own emotional turmoil and how I navigate that when I'm interacting with others, how I let others impact me, which is kind of where I started with this, which is if somebody does or says something or doesn't do or say something, and it has an impact on my core worth, then that's my fucking problem that I need to solve. That is nobody's fault but mine. I mean, not that anything is anybody's fault but mine, but that's just a lesson that I'm really, really getting down lately. I hope I'm learning and relearning it. Feels like, and I'm really convinced of its truth, and I see it in the people around me and I've experienced it myself where we let ourselves, we reduce our own self-worth. We do it to ourselves. We try to blame it on somebody else and go like, look what you made me do by not loving me the way that I wanted to be loved, or that I think I wanted to be loved, or that neurotically did and didn't want to be loved. There's all kinds of mixed up stuff in there that doesn't get articulated well and then just gets emotionally responded to in unproductive ways. So what I'm trying to say about all that is your self-worth is up to you. My self-worth is up to me. And the fact that we're here, that we're human beings alive today, is good evidence that we're worthy of existence, that we're worthy of our own existence and everything that we want to get out of it. And that includes love, abundance, anything you want. It includes misery if you want, but recognize that whatever you're getting is essentially your fault. I don't like the word blame and fault, actually. I picked that up from some of my mentors, and it's a little bit harsh, but it is a good way to look at it. But let's change that to responsibility. Your life, your mood is your responsibility. One of my 5-finger mantras that I've still been saying regularly. I try to change it and adjust it, and I still may for the new year, but I've kind of fallen back into my main one that I developed a year or two ago. And the middle one is I take full responsibility for my moods, thoughts, and actions in all conditions. And every day when I say that to myself, sometimes more than once, I have to pause a little bit and catch myself and reflect on how I don't always do that. I very often catch myself in my brain feeling a negative way and wanting to blame that either covertly or overtly on somebody else. If I really listen to my own internal dialogue a lot of times. And to be fair, I do it with my positive too a little. I go like, hey, I'm feeling good because I got invited to this thing, or I'm going to go sing with Angelo Moore, it was this weekend. And I let that make me feel good, like I'm worthy. And then the counter is when I don't get acknowledged or I don't get the attention I want, it can sometimes feel like it has something to do with my self-worth. So I've been really working on that, and I encourage you to recognize that your self-worth is inherently yours, and it has nothing to do with anyone's opinion of you, or how much you get invited to anything, or how much anyone likes you or doesn't like you, or gives you gifts or doesn't give you gifts, or how many gifts you give or don't give. It's nothing to do with any of that. Your existence is valid because you exist, and you are worthy of everything in the universe that you're willing to go get, because you're here to get it. You're here capable of doing whatever you want to do. So stop with the excuses. Stop with the blame. Don't blame yourself or others, really. Just take responsibility for your own mood, for your own thoughts, for your own actions, and your own sense of self-worth. That's my 2 cents for right now. I hope you're feeling super loved, super worthy, super alive, and feeling the full effect of the potential possibilities of this abundant universe. Peace.